In this two-part video, I'm going to show you how to repair your ceiling after water damage occurs from a leaky roof, from start to finish, plaster to paint. Right now, I'm just assessing and marking out the damaged area we're looking to remove, and also marking out any lights and cables, which will need to be reinstated once it's repaired, including this exhaust fan. Sometimes, minor leaks you can get away with just stain blocking and painting over, but this ceiling is well and truly distorted. Also, you don't want any issues with moisture and mold in the ceiling later on, so sometimes it's best just to remove it. First step here is to remove the cornice. Now if you're not familiar with this product, it's the same kind of material as the walls and ceilings, which is just a paper-faced gypsum. It's cheap and lightweight and easy to work with. It's stuck on with a product called cornice cement, which is very strong adhesive. You can see it doesn't come off easy. It's very labor intensive, and I've tried a few different methods, none work really well. Just keep this in mind if you're asked to replace cornice, how much you might want to charge if there's several rooms to do, because often it's overlooked or underestimated on how long and difficult it is to remove. So now I'm just marking out and putting some pencil lines on how far I want to cut out of this ceiling. In this case, I know I'll use a 3 meter long sheet of plasterboard. That's what fits in the back of my van. Plasterboard also is referred to as drywall, depends where you're from. I'm planning to cut it in half to be able to do this repair, so I'm just measuring off the wall and I'll use my chalk line to snap some straight lines. This is the Maxkil drywall saw, and it's by far the tool which has given me the most value for the least amount of money. If you haven't used one of these yet, they're amazing. They have an adjustable blade which you can set the depth according to the material thickness you are cutting. This ceiling is 10mm, so I'm setting it just under so I don't hit any cables, and all I need to do is use my knife gently to pierce the back side of the paper. It has an excellent design for dust extraction, where you can plug a hose straight in, which also keeps the chamber cleaner when you're cutting for longer. With the vacuum connected, it is virtually dust free. I like to cut it into manageable pieces, which I can easily carry on my own, without knocking into things on my way out. Thankfully, this is a nice and small job. Although it's very cramped to work in a small bathroom, at least I know there's not too much that can go wrong. You can see from this shot here how far the ceiling has removed from its framing. Make sure you double check your measurements of any penetrations before taking out the sheet. It might save you some guessing later. The cutter not quite cuts to the end of the sheet, but I can simply use my knife to separate the end. We will be replacing the insulation in this area too, so all of what you see is being removed and replaced. I've hit the jackpot and found the old cutout where the exhaust fan sits, so I'll be able to easily position and trace around it with a pencil later. Now I'm double checking my sheet measurements and measuring my cornices, writing the measurements so I can refer to them later. So we just put timber along here, timber between there, 1 3 meter sheet, cut down to 1400 here, 1400 there. Set that cornice should knock that off. Actually, less work. Then you'd only have one joint in the middle and a joint here, and you got an extra length of cornice. I'll leave it. I tend to go to a job first before I get the materials, so I don't miss anything as I'm going in fairly blind to most jobs. I always carry my ceiling paint and undercoats with me. Ceilings are mostly always flat, which doesn't have any reflection when you're looking at it.
That's your colour.
Because this is a cement sheet, you can't easily remove a piece from the wall. So luckily, the dear client knew her colour, and I just took a photo of the label and ensured that was the paint for the wall. So I'm at my local tools and materials retailer. It is more expensive than going direct to my paint supplier and my plasterboard supplier, but it also has timber, which those suppliers don't have anyway. Also, they got stores all over the place, so it's really convenient for me to get back to the job quickly and not drive around all day. If you want to complete these kinds of repairs all in one day and make some good dollars, you're going to need to follow these tips, and you're going to need to subscribe and even possibly become a member. You have everything you need here. Quality compounds, paper tape, fibre fuse, access panels, angles and capping. This is my 55mm cove cornice.
$7.
It's $7 Australian for a 3 meter length, and I need 2 today. It's a good time saver to get the staff to start matching and mixing your paint, so you're not wasting time in here, and don't forget the timber, which I did, and I had to drive 5 minutes back here to pick it up. You're gonna need the timber for this job, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's welcome back my Makita 36V miter saw. It weighs 13 kilograms with the battery, so it's easy to get in and out of the vehicle and doesn't get buried as it sits nice in my racking. This next scene is when I did my first TikTok live stream, and I admit I felt like a bit of a clown, but nobody knows me over there, so I don't really care.
No, that's it. Cut. Cut. Enough of that. Enough of that, mate. This is a real video. Real work. Real construction. What do we got? What do we got? Not a lot of room in here. Not a lot of room at all. Okay. First I'm going to take all the old screws out. Welcome everyone. I can't see who's joined, so we're going to be fixing this today. Something real on TikTok. This ain't Texas. Woo. While I'm here, get this baby. This is going to hold the old sheet and the new sheets together. Half on, half off. I will have to read the comments some point. Hello everyone.
Okay, so now that I got my TikTok live stream introductions out of the way, let's get back deeper into work. Before the sheets of drywall get lifted up, I need to insulate this ceiling, which wasn't too much effort being a ceiling of this size. Also, we use a product called stud adhesive, which helps hold the sheets, and you might have noticed we use less screws down under here in Australia because we use this instead of every second screw in the field on ceilings. This is the part where I messed up. I didn't feed the cable through the ceiling. I couldn't reach around, so I attempted to loosen some screws, but instead I cut a small square out so I could reach in and put the cable through. Then I just screwed a block of timber to the back of the sheet and put the piece back in. Not a day goes by I don't make such a simple mistake. It's no big issue when we can just tape and coat over it anyway.
All the heads are sticking out. What's my face look like? Like a TikToker? Now for my next trick. We're gonna put this pizza hole. If you don't have one of these, just get a pizza and put a pizza to the ceiling and trace around it. I did mark out where the hole goes. My lips have lipstick. Shh, don't tell anyone. 600. As long as it's between these framing members. 300, 600. Should just go in here like this. One pizza coming on up. fixing done. Alright, that is done. First part is done. Got the ceiling up. Let's make it a TikTok. I just was able to start going live on TikTok now, so if you got TikTok, Maxkil too. This is all up. So I'm gonna tape this joint, tape that joint, and I'm gonna do the corners in one go. Alright, so I'm gonna use accelerant. Same normal thing that I normally do. Use accelerant. Quickly tape that, quickly tape that. I'll have the corners already cut. I'll second coat, and I'll pop this corners up, pop that corners up. Then I'll top coat. Mate, I'll be out of here in 1 hour and a half. But I could stick around, keep drying it with the heat gun, paint the ceiling, paint these walls, and get the whole job done in a day.